pledge, please. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everybody. Can I have a motion to open the town board meeting June 27, 2024?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. First item on the agenda is the initial presentation of Solar Liberty Energy Systems, Inc., 18 Milburn Road, solar energy facility, proposing a 9.25 megawatt solar energy facility located on approximately 58.9 acres. How are you this evening?
Good, how are you?
Good. Do you mind just giving us your name for the audience?
My name is Dan Kriskowski, the top one, K-R-Z-Y-K-O-W-S-K. I'm with the law firm of Barclay Damon, here on behalf of Solar Liberty Partners. So tonight, we want
Somebody
to...
just give me, sorry. For anybody that hasn't been here, these meetings are recorded. The meeting is available on the Town of Goshen YouTube channel. It is a very good tool for the board and for us as well. In order for it to work, you have to use the microphone. As a mark of respect to the board, would you kindly state your name before speaking?
There you go.
I might have created that. I hired the last meeting because I was tired. I did. I also was
This is in public advertising.
Yes. We've never seen this before in our lives.
Yes, my name is Dan Kriskowski, with the law firm of Barclay Damon, here on behalf of Solar Liberty. I'll just keep using the mic if that works.
Yes, yeah.
So, tonight we're here in regards to a special permit which we applied to this board a few weeks ago. From the outset, I just want to state that we're not looking for approval tonight, not looking to, get that special permit. It's really to introduce the project, garner feedback, and keep you apprised of how this is developed, because we've been before the planning board for some time, and that's been a great iterative process. So for some background, our site is along 18 Milburn Road. It's about 59 acres, and on that we have 2 solar arrays constituting 9.25 megawatts of solar power. These are ground-mounted systems, so you can see them laid out here and in the application materials we submitted, and the 2 arrays are split along our access road, which is coming off of Milburn Road. Some of you may have seen recently we staked out part of this array along Milburn Road. That was a request of the planning board due to the scenic road corridor. So staking is now in place for that. Along with that, we've recently submitted updated visual simulations, again at the request of the planning board due to the scenic road corridor. So we're happy to provide those materials to this board and to get these boards together working for it.
Just a tiny bit so
Yeah.
I can see it also.
Tell me
Yeah, that's
that.
good. I think we can all see it. That's good.
Still see it? Perfect. Okay. So as I mentioned, we've been before the planning board, and that's been a great iterative process, and that's developed some changes recently to our site and to our array, and we're still working with the planning board and before them. So tonight we really wanted to introduce the special permit to you all, and going forward we are hoping to have a joint public hearing with the town board and the planning board when the time is right. As I mentioned, we still have some work to do with the planning board. So some recent changes I can highlight is the access road, which has now been extended through the site into a jackhammer turnaround. And this was at the request of the town engineer. This does comply with fire codes. It's a 20-foot wide gravel road into a 200-foot jackhammer. We're still determining if we're going to subdivide this site. I mentioned there are 2 arrays. The subdivision would be along the road, so it would be the exact road access you see here. If we proceed with that option, that would require a variance along that road due to the internal setback. That's not set in stone. It's something we're working through and have been talking with town attorney, town engineer, and planning board about. So, yes.
As you go on, if you don't mind.
Yes, no problem.
So if you don't subdivide, then you're going to have you're going to exceed the 5-acre maximum. You'll have 9-point-some megawatts, and you'll exceed the 5 megawatt maximum. So on one parcel of property. So how do you plan to do that without subdividing?
Well, we're looking at where we could subdivide, and if we could. The town also has a prohibition on common roads, so that's something we've been talking to the town attorney each have their own unique issues, which I'm happy to go into, but
But the issue of the subdivision, you've indicated, or the way I got it is, you're either gonna subdivide, you're gonna make a decision or not subdivide, but I don't understand how you cannot subdivide. It's gonna be the same owner in one parcel of property.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be over 9 megawatts, so.
yeah. So it's
That'd
something
be
that's,
allowed.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
no, it's something we're still talking with the developer about, and it's, just want to hit
Yeah,
that this is not,
okay.
this design's not set in stone, and for anyone who
Okay.
has been to or around this site, it does have some unique topography,
Yeah.
which we think we can use to our advantage, especially for screening due to the slopes. So these are southerly facing arrays that are about a 20-degree tilt. And so due to the topography, which again, I'm happy to submit the new visual sims we have with leaf on and leaf off conditions, we're able to screen those, which is an advantage of the site. A disadvantage of the site, obviously, we have wetlands. We've been talking to the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, New York State DEC. That work's ongoing. And that also leads to some tough access points from the westerly side and from Moonlight. It's very steep, and we would really avoid, we do not want to do that, but just pointing out some topography issues.
Good, thank you.
Yeah, so with that, I'm happy to open it up to any questions as meant. Oh, yeah.
Do you have storage, power storage on either one of these two?
No, no battery storage is involved, just solar.
Okay.
And we're a solar developer, we don't do batteries, so that will not change.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm happy to open up to more comments from the board.
Where will the solar panels be manufactured?
Most panels are manufactured in China and Taiwan, realistically. We have not procured these panels, so we don't have approval, so haven't gone down procurement. But that's where most solar panels are made in the world at this point.
Well, we do have concerns about PFOAs and PFOSs
Mhm.
which are associated with these. And because once you wash that off onto the land, it's in the land. And so it is important to us where they're made, what standards and so forth and so on.
Yeah, we're happy to provide manufacturing labels, and also we are preparing a stormwater prevention plan, which again, happy to provide what we've been providing to the planning board, to this board.
Yeah, okay.
I just hate to belabor that one point, but it's like two separate areas. You're gonna have to address one first before you actually address what you're planning to do with the property. To my understanding is, you're gonna have to address the whole subdivision, and one owner can't own both lots, so somehow or another, it's not only gonna be subdivided, but I think they're gonna be two separate owners.
Okay.
If you're putting almost
Two
five
different arrays,
megawatts.
yeah.
So the point is, rather than, and I don't want to mislead you, and that's why I
No.
want to give you all the information. I think that's probably the first thing
Yeah.
you're going to have to do, and then secondly, you can go on with all the technicalities of.
Definitely, and it's something
I
we,
think, so.
yeah, we've been talking with the town attorney about these issues and with our developer.
Okay.
So we're well on our way, but,
That town attorney?
no, sorry, Attorney Naughton.
Yeah,
Kelly
the
Norton.
planning board
Yes.
attorney,
Yeah.
Kelly Norton. Okay.
Yes.
Good.
There's a number of the homes surrounding the outside there.
Yes.
And in my brief reading of this thing, I think they said it conceivably could be as close as 100 feet
Yeah, we would.
from the residence.
We would comply with the 100-foot setback. All of our arrays are away from that. And those new visual sims we just ran address this issue off of Milburn, because there are 4 homes. They're not pictured on this site plan, but along here. And also to address that, we have a planting plan. You can see on these corners, we're proposing planting, and the town engineer, Mr. Hoffman, recently provided us with a new planting plan from a recently approved solar project that the planning board really liked. So we've taken that back and are revising our planting plan to address that as well, looking at native species and things of that nature.
So we have had a number of. Needless to say, we had a number of solar farms before us.
Yep.
Maybe 6 or 7, or quite a few. This one seems to be really crowded. I mean, it seems like you're packing every last solar panel you possibly can to get into that. And it just seems like it's like, to me, first part, it seems to be overbearing, with the number of solar panels that you have. And, you said the jackhammer, and if something happens in there, you have that one road coming in, and I don't know whether or not that's going to suffice to do whatever might happen, or whatever emergency may happen.
Yeah.
It seems to be very, very crowded, and as I said, just looks like you're trying to max the thing out rather than trying to do a design that would fit in there a bit better.
Yeah, to that point, I would say it's around a 59-acre parcel, and our arrays take up around 29 acres. The rest of the site is undisturbed, and we will not disturb it. So it's a much larger site than is shown on this drawing. And to your point, we're also, we do have these wetlands, and we're staying out of them. Now with the road, we are crossing the wetland, and that's going to require a permit from the Army Corps. As I mentioned, we're in contact with them. To your point about access, again, we talked to the town engineer, and that led to the 20-foot wide road and the jackhammer. We are reaching out to the fire department. We obviously want to make sure emergency personnel are aware of the site, complies with local requirements, and we're all on the same page. So that process is ongoing, and that's also what's leading to, we want their sign off. Obviously, we will not proceed without it. So the jackhammer design, maybe it's a different design, but it's something we want to contact emergency personnel about.
So,
George. Yeah. How can you turn your?
You want to get feedback?
Yeah, it's good now. When you turn your mic on and his mic's on.
Maybe I'm too close.
oh,
There's
can,
a, yeah. Go ahead.
can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, interesting point that you just brought up. I thought that picture there was the whole 59 acres. In fact, what you're saying is it's like 30 acres. As
Correct.
compared to- So then where, if you look at the whole entire project, because I looked through your maps that you gave us, where does the property extend to?
Yeah, we're happy to provide
make up?
a further kind of blowout of it. I mean, some of it too, this wetland area, I don't know the exact acreage, along here, but to your point, happy to provide, a different viewpoint that shows the entire site and the parcels in relation to that acreage to have a visual of that.
Yeah.
So other than the wetlands, is there any other property?
I'm sorry.
Other than the wetlands,
Yeah.
and where the arrays are, is there any additional property on this plot?
No, it's the general, outline is here. A little cut off down there, a little cut off over
So
here.
essentially you're using the majority of the property, inclusive of wetlands.
Exclusive of wetlands.
Well, if you look at the entire property, including wetlands,
Yeah.
the arrays take up the whole property plus the wetlands.
I mean, the scale might be off. I think that's what's working.
But I think George is looking at, is there a broad amount?
Yes,
Is there
yes.
a lot more property associated with this, or just is it the wetlands and the arrays?
Yeah, there is more property. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like
58
roughly 30 acres. The property is roughly 59
58
acres.
acres,
28
and 29
roughly.
acres. That's the 29-acre portion.
Correct. Yeah. This
Yes,
that
the
one.
rest
Yes.
of the property.
Well,
of
the 29-acre
58,
portion
right.
is just where the arrays are, not inclusive of the wetlands.
Correct. That 29 acres is what we will be disturbing.
Right.
Okay.
The arrays themselves take up less than 29 acres. I don't have the. Sure, it's somewhere in my materials, but it is less than that
It's
due
a little
to the
confusing,
wetlands. Yeah.
So, but is that wetland included in the 29 acres?
Of disturbance. The areas where we're
Yeah.
crossing and where we're
Oh,
coming
okay,
in here, but this is excluded because we are
Right,
not
Okay,
allowed.
that's the question.
No, but it's part of the 29-acre parcel. So
Correct.
whatever you're taking out as a wetland, the rest of you're going to be using as your
For the arrays.
for the project. So,
Right.
yeah. I don't know how much wetlands are there that are going to be taken out. I didn't finish this memo, so do you have any idea how much the wetlands?
I have a
Probably 8 or 10 acres.
that sounds about right.
So the rest would be about 19 or 20 acres is where
Right.
the whole project is going to be on.
And I would say too, to provide some more clarity to kind of impacts, the clearing that would occur is roughly 7 acres. So we're at 60 acres, we would only be clearing roughly 7 acres. Again, due to site topography and
Right,
correct.
it's all usable land that you can.
Correct.
Okay, fine.
So then, again, I hate to harp on this issue. I'm looking at a map now that is basically 29 acres with the wetlands and with the arrays and so on and so forth. So there's another 25 acres that's not pictured on
this printout, correct? And
right.
have
So
it-
where is that? Is it to the
believe it's-
upper part, the sides, or where is it, or is it all around?
It's all around. I also believe it's due to the scale of the map I've printed and brought in that we've zoomed in on this area versus out here, the scale has shrunk, if that makes sense. So again, happy to
Yeah.
provide the,
Well, you'll also be going before the zoning board of appeals if you're gonna do this.
correct, yep.
Because your setbacks are
We do
partial 15 feet or setbacks.
we do comply with currently the 100-foot setback. It would be the internal line we would need a variance from. If we subdivide, we would
If you
not.
subdivide?
Yes, that would be a required variance.
So your side lots and everything?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Joe,
Yeah.
are questions from the public allowed here?
No.
No?
George, can you turn on your mic? There's a,
Oh, you want me to leave it
just,
on?
Yeah.
leave it on.
Okay.
There's an awful lot here.
Yep.
Our engineer has, I mean, you have a ton of stuff that has to be addressed, so.
Yeah, and we've been
I
in.
know you're giving us a preliminary presentation, and I thank you for it, but.
No, and
you know it has to be done.
Yeah, and I would say, the points, we really just wanted to get in front of you all, and we appreciate an iterative process. We've been with the planning board, the town engineer has given us great comments.
Yeah.
We're working with him, he's been awesome, and we will
Yeah.
continue down that road.
You're a good engineer.
Yeah. And to the point of going forward, to your point, we would have to be in front of the ZBA for variance and subdivision. We would also, we're still in front of the planning board, but as this site progresses,
Yeah.
we will keep you apprised of our progress. Happy to provide our submissions to the planning board going forward, and really would love a joint public hearing to the point of getting everyone involved and getting that public feedback. So it's something we really value.
Well, when all is said and done, you need a special use permit for
Correct,
us.
yes.
So we'll be the last stop.
Happy to be back.
It may be the stop. Just so you know. So, I don't have any questions. You?
Yeah, happy to answer anything else, sir.
I'm just looking at I'm looking at the map online. And it looks like that entire property there, if it's 58 acres, is the entire parcel.
Yeah, I think we're just the scale of our printout is zoomed on our arrays versus out here. Gives it a little bit of a, kind of, I don't know, I wouldn't say overstatement, but compared to our impacts versus the whole parcel.
All right.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda. Next item on the agenda is IWS Goshen Transfer Station.
Jay Dunham, Market Vice President for Interstate Waste.
Kristen Thordahl, Cornerstone Engineering and Geology.
Why are we here?
No. So we're here to obtain a solid waste management ADB permit from the town. We've already received planning board approval for the proposed expansion. It's not expansion, addition to the existing solid waste transfer station building, which is like 9,000 square feet. In addition to a 65,000 gallon water storage tank for fire suppression. The facility is permitted by the New York State DEC to handle 600 tons of MSW and CND plus 70 tons of recyclables, which we're asking that to be converted to MSW/CND from the DEC. That submission's been to the DEC, and we're waiting comments from them. And we've got, like I said,
So how are we going to be able to issue an ADB if we don't know what the DEC is going to approve?
Right.
Like, I know I know you're already approved for 670, but you're going to the DEC to combine them into one.
Correct, right, yep.
So do you anticipate that that's going to be done by the DEC relatively soon, so that when you come to us, unless you're going to come to us for the same thing that you have now, which is 670, that wasn't my understanding, but we would have to match up to whatever the DEC provides.
Right. And unfortunately, we don't know their time frame. We can talk to them and ask their, what they feedback, but,
So, Rory, question for you then. Could, if and when we're ready to approve this, could we approve this conditionally on converting it to 670 if the DEC approves it?
That's a kind of a two-part answer. You can't approve it. I would say you can approve it conditionally for the extra amount, but it wouldn't go into place until that.
So the DEC approves
Yeah.
it? Okay.
right.
I need to ask a question.
Yeah, go for it.
So, if the DEC approves it, we need to approve it to issue the permit first. Does our approval supersede the DEC, even though they approve it, if we don't want to issue the permit?
So
Who has control of allowing
You can't
them
go.
to do
You
this?
can't go in excess of whatever the DEC
No, that's
approves.
not the
But
question.
I'm talking.
So-
yeah, but I can answer that because I made the call to the DEC
Okay,
today.
go ahead.
So the DEC has override approval on the amount of tonnage. They do all the work on the traffic. They do everything. The town cannot disapprove what the DEC approves unless there's something above and beyond. Like if traffic increases, then we can look at it. We can't just disapprove it for the increased tonnage. It would be arbitrary. But the DEC does have approval on it.
So they can override our, if we don't want to approve it, if we feel that it's not good for the town or whatever, the way we see it, we don't want to issue a permit. Are you saying that, because their permit, our permit expired in 2011 already, and then we're operating without a town permit.
Yeah,
So
my
if they don't
understanding,
even need a town permit, why are we going through this whole thing?
because we
I'm trying to
require it.
understand.
Because we require it.
We do require it.
Correct. We require it, but
But if we don't want to, if we say no,
I
then are they
think
still able to operate without our approval? That's the question for the attorney. I just need to know.
Well, I'm not going to go against the conversation that the supervisor had with DEC. So I don't have an answer for you based on that information.
you can follow up with them,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
my understanding is the DEC has overall right to issuing the permits for all solid waste in the state of New York.
Right.
The town can have its own supplemental law, but that law the DEC overrules that law
That's right.
once they do all the work. So, but we still have a law. It still has to be approved by us.
No, I understand. I'm just not sure if the DEC is giving you the correct information. I don't totally trust the DEC 100%.
Well, I mean, what we can do,
okay.
what we can do is we can issue a request to the Association of Towns Attorney to get an answer out of her, or we can lean on Sean to him to get an answer. Sean and Kelly
I
to get
just
an
need
answer.
to know who is.
Well, Phil, I think that
Yeah.
on everything else that DEC does, we can approve less than they say, but we can't approve more than they say. And so they're the ones that need to be saying, yep, here's what we can do here first. And then between the planning board and everybody else, we can either go with theirs or something a little bit less.
Generally speaking, I agree with you, Doug. It sounds like you're saying to the contrary of that. So I haven't had that
The
conversation.
DEC has overall right in the state of New York for issuing solid waste permits for transfer stations, landfills, and anything else where solid waste goes.
Right.
So they have the right they do all the, I'm sure you went in front of the DEC, you did your traffic studies, you did all your analysis, you gave them everything, and they approved it based on that.
However,
Go ahead. Yeah.
does it have to comply with local zoning, is what I'm asking. In other words, the DEC can issue anything they want.
Well,
But if we have zoning prohibiting certain stuff, can they override our zoning?
Well, I
That's
think
all
their
I'm asking.
application was in conjunction with the planning board. It wasn't, so when they filed their permit for their facility on Hartley Road, it was in conjunction with the secret process that the planning board was doing. But the state issued the permit for the solid waste.
I think their tonnage, they've been collecting tonnage almost double the amount of the actual permit. That way you had
they've
given
been,
initially, because the DEC said that they can collect this much, but I don't think the town permit allowed them to, and that expired, so they continued to work off the DEC.
Okay,
I just need
yeah.
to know
No, it's
who's,
fair.
who is who and who is what.
Generally speaking,
That's
the
all.
rule that
Yeah.
applies is the way Doug presented it, which is we can constrain to a certain extent
Right.
lower than what the state allows, whether it's DEC or others. This may be to the contrary.
That's the
So,
question.
I-
I mean,
well, we get the answer for it.
yeah, that's the.
That was my understanding of my conversation today. So, but I could ask Sean to get us a written request from.
That'd be right. We just have to know,
Mhm.
you know, that whose jurisdiction supersedes.
My understanding is they should-
DEC can come in and say, you know what, you can do, instead of 670, you can do, 1,500 tons or whatever. Somewhere along the line, we need to be able to control something that's happening in Goshen. And that's with landfills and everything. We do have specific zonings for landfills. Should apply to the transfer station. I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. You want clarification?
Okay.
We can
Yeah,
clarification.
I do.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you.
So,
But go ahead.
I have a low battery. Can you still hear me?
Yep.
Okay. So Sean's letter to us says, we understand that the DEC is reviewing the application and suggest you condition any action on the applicant obtaining and maintaining all applicable approvals and permits. So, the way I was reading this from Sean is that yes, there are certain things you have to do. You get approvals through the DEC, but then you have to come to us like they don't issue the special use permit. We issue the special use permit. So it's kind of a blend of both of the agencies.
Right.
Makes sense.
Okay, and the way I understand it is that the completeness of the whole package is not done yet. Have you been talking to our engineer?
Oh, yes, yes.
Oh, so you know that you have to do.
Yes, he did. He said it. He did also say, do you have any other additional
Oh, great.
requirements that you'd like us to include beyond what's in his comment?
Essentially, as I understand it, this is to start the clock. So we're going to issue a decision that it's incomplete. Then you're going to work with our engineer to complete it. Then you're going to come back in front of us,
Right.
and then we can decide.
Perfect. Yep. Okay.
Thank you. Yeah.
Any other questions, Doug? Or?
No.
No. Okay, so then.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
There you go. Thank you so much.
Okay. Item number 3 on the agenda is Tam's request for a final payment on the roof rehab and window replacement. Window replacement in the amount of $4,925 and roof restoration in the amount of $97,284. These repairs are all done. Sean attached a note. Based on information, they had to reduce their price by, I don't know, a couple of $1,000. They agreed. Sean is stating that it is ready to be paid. So, any questions from the rest of the board relative to this?
Well, Sean's note to us, I think, said that there were still, and maybe you just answered it, that there were a few items, like a cracked frame on the second floor budget office.
Yep.
That's all been
Taken care of.
all taken
Yep.
care of. Okay, so that's the only thing that I had as a difficulty or problem with it. They're all taken care of?
Doug, any questions?
This is final payment, right?
Okay, so I get a motion to approve the final payment.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Do we need a?
Need a roll call?
Well, that was it.
I always suggest you just do roll call
The money
on
line.
any one of them, and then
Okay.
Councilman Bloomfield,
Aye.
Councilman Lyon,
Aye.
Councilman Cantorino,
Aye.
Supervisor Petra,
Aye.
and Councilman Florio was absent.
Okay, next item on the agenda is the MVP renewal, MVP EPO HDP Bronze Plant 7. George did most of the work on it, so I'll let him do the honors.
Okay, there was a sheet that I think was included with your packet. And, part of this is negotiated contracts with the CSEA union. So there's not a heck of a lot of wiggle room, not that really we were thinking of doing anything that much
much different. So the existing one was the Bronze 7 through MVP. It has the national network. That's a very important item. And the one that we are requesting that you approve tonight is also the Bronze 7. And essentially, as you look down through that, the cost went up on the premiums about 8%. And then they did inflate a couple of things by a couple of $100. And then because of the increase there, then the HRA, the Health Reserve Account, where we pay off the deductibles and the co-pays, also increased. So when all is said and done, at the 60% usage of the Health Reserve Account, the price, the total price for the Bronze 7 for 24-25 is 6%. And that's essentially it, unless you have questions.
Doug, you have any questions?
No.
Bill?
No.
I have no questions.
Good job, George.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, guys, this is an ongoing dilemma that we have, increase in insurance.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, so with that being said, if we have no additional questions, could I get a motion to approve the signing of the new contract?
So moved.
Second, all in favor?
Now let's do a roll call.
Roll call.
Roll call on that one.
Roll call.
Councilman Cantorino?
Aye.
Councilman Wine?
Aye.
Councilman Blanco?
Aye.
Supervisor Petra?
Aye.
And George, I would like to thank you again.
Yeah.
George
Yeah,
and I
puts a lot of
used to
work
do this,
into
do a lot of work in this.
Yep. They're deadly afraid of him when they come in here.
Oh, I don't know about that. But the thing about it, there's really, I guess, for all intents and purposes, only two games in town. HPP
Right.
and the Empire Plan, which is pervasive. But the Empire Plan is a lot more expensive. And we have saved a lot of money.
Hundreds of
going with
thousands.
MVP.
You're right.
But we've saved a lot of money in premium and stuff like that. But on top of that is, it's a better plan. The MVP people who have MVP with the town of Goshen have a much better deal. They have no co-pays and no deductibles. So you can't get a better plan than that anywhere. So we're saving some money and they got a better plan.
And have been for
Usually
many
it doesn't
years.
work out that way, but that's the way it worked out so far for what, it's like the last 10 years.
Yeah.
that we've
It's
been
about
doing it.
10 years, George, yeah.
Yep.
All right, again, thank you, George, for all your work and effort on this.
Yes.
Employees in Goshen, thank you. Next item on the agenda, introductory law number 8 of 2024, a local law amending the code of the town of Goshen, chapter 89, entitled Vehicles and Traffic, Article 2, Stop Intersections, amended to add Rolling Ridge intersection with Howard Court. I guess
Schedule a public hearing.
excuse me?
We have to schedule a public hearing.
Yeah, we do. So, any questions on it?
Well, it's a whole bunch of different places.
Well,
Yeah.
all right, so we've kind of gone back and forth on this. There was a law a while back where I just took the areas that were being amended, and that didn't include the whole law. This happens to be one of the shortest laws on our books, just a grid. So I included all the streets that currently have that.
You're currently in there, George.
And I just added,
Those are all currently on there. He just added it to it.
Oh, I see.
yeah, it's,
This one other.
yeah.
Just
I mean,
one-
it's
one
so you could-
intersection is
It would look strange by itself, one, but it was to give you so what it looks like in the book, so you have the
Okay.
whole composite.
It makes sense, it's okay. Good.
Yep.
It's,
Yeah, that's good.
And so which one on this grid is it?
Yeah, which one is Howard Court?
Howard Court, it should be south.
The last
Set,
one.
yep.
The last one on the grid,
Got it.
So public hearing scheduled when, Kat?
July 25th.
What is it?
July 25th
July 25th.
at 7 o'clock.
All right. We need a motion to do
So
that?
moved.
So, need a
Second.
motion?
Bill and
Motion
All in favor?
Aye.
at 7 PM.
Yeah,
7 PM on July 25th.
I got you. I
I
got
didn't see
you.
that.
Beat
there.
me
Sorry,
to it.
Kat.
I was giving you the chance.
I was gonna take it.
Next item on the agenda is review and approve the electrical inspectors as prepared by Building Inspector Frank Leva. So a list of the replacements for Bob, this is?
No, these are a list of.
Oh, licensed electricians
inspectors
that can do work in the town of Goshen.
Right.
Any questions on that?
You know, it was interesting because in February of last year, a windstorm came, took a tree down, took all my power lines down, ripped them off the house and everything. Went to Frank, he gave me one of these people off the list. I felt very comfortable because he's overseeing all of this, so it is important to our public.
Yep.
So what do you need?
Need a motion?
No.
Yes.
Do we need a motion?
To
Yeah.
accept the list.
Motion to accept the list.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Review and approve the town board minutes, June 13, 2024. Any questions on it?
Yeah, I got one thing that I think should be changed. Where is it now? It's on page 5. We're talking about Millennium Strategies for the grant writing. And it says, Christine Cavalier spoke on Millennium Strategies grant writing proposal. It is a flat rate with no fees, a 30-day opt-out. The way I think it should be is it's a fee of $3,500 per month and no other fees. Otherwise, it's kind of reading that there's no fees, and the fee is $35.
It's not, yeah, I think the
$35
old contract had no, it was contingent, so no
But
outlay
he's looking for
fee.
clarification, he's right.
Yeah, no, I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
So
So
That's the way I think that reads better, for sure.
Yep.
Maybe not.
Take care of that.
Need 'em.
All right, so can I have a motion to approve the June 13 meeting with the changes George just made?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We have two informational items. We have two more police officers. Oh, well, court officer Jose Soto is resigning as court officer effective June 1st, 2024. We are not replacing him with a court officer, but rather we are replacing him with a police officer.
Town of Goshen.
Town of Goshen police officer, yes. Number 9, Raul Lopez is resigning as a police officer effective June 19th, 2024.
Do we have to do any motions on these?
No, it's just information only.
We're replacing him with a town
He's a
negotiation.
part-timer.
Part-time.
Oh, part-time.
Part-time police officer. No, whoever's on duty that night will be in here for the hour or two.
Perfect. Okay. Very good, thank you.
Should we send them?
Oh, yes, please send
Come on,
them a thank
man.
you letter. We accept the resignation. Please supervise it. Send them a thank you letter for your service. I appreciate it, thank you.
All right.
Mary, you draft it.
Discuss and approve the motion to authorize the supervisor to pay accounts payable check run for June 27, 2024 in the amount of $281,283.84. Can I have that motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Just wanted to go back on the police officer situation with the courts. We had a risk person come and go through all of the town, and he issued a letter, which has been circulated. One of the things in there was the certifications, and make sure that the certifications are correct for the police officers or the other folks that we were using prior to that. So when all is said and done, I think the risk manager is going to be very happy that we are using certified town police officers.
Yeah, good, George.
All right.
Little line, yeah.
All right, open the floor. Good.
This is party time, folks. Time for you to talk. Anybody want to speak? Here we go.
Hi, I'm Bill Sandy. I'm an archaeologist. I'm here to talk about about Dutchess Quarry Caves. If we had called it Orange County Caves, I think we would have had it saved by now. I started doing archaeology in Orange County in the mid-1980s. Worked with a young guy by the name of Dave Church to save Lookout Mountain. and that was in 1985. Here we are, oh God, a lot of years later. It's an incredibly important site. The book on the site was written by the greatest archaeologist ever, Dr. Robert Funk. Anything that the town can do to take over and manage this would be great, because the county has been terrible at it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bill Sandy, Town of Minnesota.
Oh, here we are. Hi, Bill Troy, Town of Goshen. Just wanted to mention, that we've talked about this before, but following the removal of the Salesian building, which was an eyesore and whatnot, and greatly improved the view of the park over there. But the roadway and parking lot behind that former building is in horrendous shape. I'm talking about now by the dog park and whatnot. And I believe that this is under review by the Parks and Rec Commission, so I just wanted to add my voice to support whatever we can do for that roadway.
Okay.
Thank you. Your name, please.
Howdy, Neil Howard. Just a fast clarification, really. I understand the employees are going to have 4-day weeks during the summer. Yeah, I'm okay with that. I'm not objecting to that or anything.
July and August.
July, right. So my question really is just a clarification that when they take off a day during the summer, that's going to be a 10-hour day, not an 8-hour day. So that's being taken care of in the...
Yeah.
Okay, good enough. Thank you very much.
10 hours later. Do I gotta get workers' comp papers for Chris? Whatever he's doing?
Anybody else? Gene's gonna talk.
Hi, Jean D'Onofrio. On August 4th and 5th, the Science of the Souls is going to have their regional conference, correct?
Correct.
All right. Is there going to be any public announcement for the people of Goshen so that they know there might be extra heavy traffic on 17M?
It'll be on Goshen Connect. We're working through the traffic issues now. We were out there this past week with the police chief and the people from Science of the Soul, trying to get it as seamless as possible to get the traffic away from the village, deterring them out towards Middletown to get on 84.
Okay.
So yeah, there'll be a map of it, and everything will be listed on the Goshen Connect page.
Okay, and will there be somebody monitoring this just to get an idea of the effect on the traffic so we know going forward how it affects 17M?
They will be paying for a police department. Yep. So our police will be out there monitoring everything.
Okay, thank you.
How many people are we expecting? 7,000.
Anybody else? No? Okay, I'll go. Chris Healy, Town of Goshen. At our last ERB meeting, Town Supervisor Betro attended, and while it was not part of the agenda, Supervisor Betro, you spoke briefly about the possibility of giving Frank Leva a bit more leeway in issuing permits. Currently, if you want to put up a shed, a fence, a small pool, all of these things, it is a very costly expense for the homeowner. And it's a very long and laborious multiple meetings. Your suggestion, if I had it right, was that Mr. Leva be given certain powers, a bit of more leeway to be able to, what I would call a site inspection. He can go to the home and say, yes, measure here, here, and this is where your fence goes. Eliminating this burden to the taxpayer. I love the idea. If/when this idea comes through, I would encourage the other board members to please support.
It's part of Phil's comprehensive.
Thank you.
He's the chairman of that.
I'd love to hear it. Please support that.
That's one of the items that came up immediately.
Wonderful.
Overly.
Thank you.
One of the cautions, however, if you're the neighbor and this neighbor is given to put a shed a little bit closer and it impacts you and you don't like it, it's going to have to come to the,
we elevate that to the next level, and maybe that's part of the process. Instead of making it a public hearing, instead you have to notify your neighbors. I'm putting in, and you get a say about it directly to Mr. Leva.
So the way I read it, the way I envision it, not read it, the way I envision it is we're looking to eliminate them having to come to the planning board because they fall within the scenic overlay district. They still have to conform to setbacks and things like that.
Yeah, that's all.
So Frank will have the ability to say, they conform to setbacks, this is not a burden on the neighbors, it doesn't affect the overall look of the scenic thing, I'm gonna issue the building permit.
Right.
Love the idea. Again, I would encourage all the board members to support this.
It's gonna go.
Thank you, wonderful. Tonight, we spoke, item number one was the big solar field array, and I'm very grateful to the board members speaking about the zoning and making sure that we keep these to the proper zoning. Doug, you talked about chemicals. I looked them up. Now I'm completely freaked out. I didn't know there was that much coming off of these panels, and thank you for bringing up and making sure that these things are covered. And the density of the site you guys are talking about, it did look like they were completely full. They're talking about going to the ZBA. These neighbors of ours out there are already having a heck of a time with that Tilcon mine. They are under duress. I would hate to see them have this thing going on in their backyard. I would like to know that codes and ordinances are going to be fulfilled. I would like to know that these things are not going to be unsightly to them. I would like to know that the setbacks are going to be adhered to, noise variance for building, etc. Please, these are our neighbors, and this is a very big project you're talking about. The other thing was, I really think we need to know who's in charge of the town. You're right, Mr. Cantorino, the DEC, if they can just override what we're saying, that doesn't seem right. A common sense approach would be that we control our town. So a follow-up, I thank you very much. I know it's not easy work, but it is important to us.
Look, if I could just elaborate on it a little bit, why our town is a lot more different than most towns in Orange County is because we have our own law, because we have 2 landfills. Most towns don't have transfer stations or landfills. So although we have a law, it still supersedes to the DEC. They control solid waste in the state. But they have to conform to the tonnage. We have to know that the tonnage that DEC approved, we also filed it. You know, they have to get a permit from us, and that's what they're here to do.
I appreciate that, and on paper, I appreciate that they have to conform to tonnage, but it does seem like, I've heard from more than one person, I've never counted the trucks coming in and out, seems like a lot more tonnage going on these days than there used to be. So, again, thank you to the board members for watching out for our town, really do appreciate it. Anybody else? That was it.
Okay. With that being said, Bill, did you have a question on? I know you wanted to say something about the solid, when they were talking about the solid waste. Was it solid waste or
the solar waste? No, my question was where they're bringing the transmission line out off the property.
That's a question of where is they bringing the transmission line?
It's probably going to be out to Reservoir Road.
Yeah, and then, okay.
They'll hook on Reservoir Road. That's the main going down there.
Yeah.
All right, with that being said, can I have a motion to close the town board meeting June 27, 2024?
So moved.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everybody.